Hi guys, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this tabletop dragon that I've named Endra. Endra is the fourth dragon in my design collection, but it's my first tabletop dragon. Here are my other three dragon designs, which are hanging dragons. These are sold separately, but they do look great hung together as a trio, and I'll place links to purchase them in the description below. I'm so happy to be showing you this tabletop dragon since it's different from what I've done in the past with dragons. Here is Endra in some different color combinations. You can use this dragon for a party table, or it can sit on a dresser in a dragon themed bedroom, or you can even make it as a special handmade gift. In this dragon download there are two versions of the dragon. In one version, the dragon wings are attached to its body, and in the second version, the dragon wings are detached from its body, just like you see here. All other parts of the dragon are the same for both versions. The version with the wings separated allows you to create the dragon wings in a different color from its body. For this pink dragon, I cut the wings out of glitter paper, which turned out pretty nice. This version also allows you to create a larger dragon because the wing and body can be cut on separate sheets of paper. I typically use 8.5 inches by 11-inch paper for all my designs, and you can see here the two sizes of dragons that you can make when you cut on this size paper. The dragon on the left was made with the dragon wings separated, and it's about 9 inches in width by 8 inches in height. I enlarged the dragon's body to the largest size that would fit on 8.5 by 11 paper, and of course I also scaled all the other parts up at the same time. The small dragon was made using the dragon with the wings attached, and it's about 6.5 inches in width and 6.5 inches in height. If your cutting machine is able to take paper larger than 8.5 by 11, like for example a 12 by 12 paper, then of course you can make even bigger versions of both these dragons, wings separated and attached. Just make sure if you're going to be scaling either of the dragons to scale all the body parts. Now let me show you what you'll find when you open up your downloaded folder. The first folder is named Tabletop Dragon Endra Wings Attached. In that folder you'll find all the different file types that I include in all my designs, and most of you will be using the SVG file. In that SVG file you should see these parts of the dragon. I should mention that here I have them colored in because I know this is how all shapes import into Design Space, which is the Cricut software. But in your software you may see these as outlines because the SVG file is actually just outlines, so just keep that in mind. So here you'll find the dragon body with the wings attached. To make one complete dragon you will need to cut two bodies. In this file I've doubled all the dragon accent parts because you'll also need two of each piece, but I didn't duplicate the dragon body, so you will just need to cut out two bodies when you go to cut. You'll also see these tiny pieces here, and these are the parts that fill in the dragon's eyes and nose. You will only need one of each of these pieces. One thing to note is this is how the two dragon bodies will attach together. So if you're using single-sided paper like glitter paper, I would recommend to cut out your dragon using the separated wings design. The reason is the top of the wing is what will show on your dragon, so you want the pretty side of the paper to show on this side. So the solution is to just use the dragon design with a separate wing piece so you can cut out the body and the wing facing the correct sides. When you cut out the wings separately, you can make sure the side you want to show, in this case the glitter side, will be upward facing. The other thing I want to note are the dotted fold lines you see here. In Design Space you will need to click on the dragon's body and then ungroup it so that the body separates from the fold lines. Then choose all three lines and change them to score lines. If you don't do this, these lines will cut as solid lines and your dragon's body will fall to pieces. Then before you cut, just group them back together. And quickly, I'll just tell you what the other parts are. These are the wing accents, which are the orange parts you see on the wings here. This is the tail piece that attaches at the end of the tail. And these two pieces attach to the top of the tail, which you can see here. And finally, these two pieces are the horn accents that attach to the dragon's head, like this. And now in the second folder called Tabletop Dragon Endra Wings Separated, these are the parts you'll find. All parts are the same as the previous file I showed you, but here the wings are separated from the body. In the file, I've enlarged the dragon's body to the largest size that will fit onto 8.5 by 11 inch paper, but I get feedback sometimes telling me that my designs import smaller than they should be. So if that happens in your software, just remember to scale all the parts together to the same extent. And then again, anywhere you see dotted lines here, make sure to change them to dotted lines if they are importing as solid lines in your software. Another thing I need to mention is that if you're using one-sided paper like glitter paper, make sure to cut all your pieces in mirror images of each other. I have all the pieces here, including the wings, already set up as mirrors of each other, so you can go ahead and cut them as they are. But when you cut the dragon's body, after you've cut one body, flip the design over before you cut your second body. The way we'll be assembling the dragon requires the pieces to be mirror images of each other, but of course this only applies if you're using paper that's single-sided. Okay, moving on. Here are what the parts look like when they're cut out. I'm going to start with showing you how to attach the wing to the body if you're making that version. Then after that, the assembly is the same as the dragon with the wings attached. Here's a quick snapshot of the materials you'll need. This is double-sided tape with lining on it, which I'll link below. The X-Acto knife is not necessary, I just use it to remove the tape lining. Everything else you see here we will be using. So here are my dragon bodies with the separated wings. The first thing we do is fold the dragon's legs and arms at the fold lines. It'll help at this point to lay out your dragon bodies so that they're facing each other. Then for each dragon body, if you have them facing each other, you'll be folding the leg and arm folds upwards. Then take each wing, again helpful if you have them laid out facing each other like the dragon bodies, and fold upwards at the fold line. Now to attach the wings to the body, take one dragon and double check that all your folds are upwards. Then apply glue to the wing band. Here you can also use double-sided tape if you prefer. Now take that wing and place the glued band behind the dragon's body. Use the little bump at the tail end as your guide on where to place the wing, and just line up the wing fold line to the back of the dragon. Now repeat with the other dragon body and wing. Again, it's very helpful if you have it facing your first dragon. And this wing also attaches behind the dragon's body if you have it facing your first dragon's body. And here we have a dragon with the wings attached. And now I'm going to switch over to a dragon piece with the wings attached, because this is where the assembly of each dragon converge and the steps to make your dragon are the same from this point on. So if you're starting at this point, the first thing you want to do is make those folds at the fold lines. Just like the dragon with the separated wings, the most foolproof way to do this is to place your two dragons so they're facing each other. Then for each dragon, make all 3 folds at the legs, arms, and wings upwards. And here is a look at the size difference between the dragon with the wings attached and the one we worked on earlier with a separated wing. Both were cut using 8.5 by 11 paper. When we go to attach these 2 dragon cutouts together, they'll be attached like this. And the next step is to take one dragon. Here I'm starting with the dragon on the left and flip it over. Whichever dragon cutout you choose to start with here, make sure you flip it so the folds are away from you. This side of the dragon is going to be hidden by the other dragon cutout when it's done. Once you have your dragon flipped to the correct side, we are going to glue on the eye and nose filler pieces. To do that, take your small paintbrush and spread some glue around the eye and nose holes. Then pick up the filler pieces and place them on top of the holes to completely cover them. Now we can set that aside to dry, and we'll work on the other dragon cutout next. This time we are not going to flip our dragon, so for this step make sure all your folds are up and towards you. This side of the dragon will remain exposed when it's finished, so we are going to glue on some accent pieces. First, take one horn piece. If you cut it out with single-sided paper, make sure you're using the right piece. This is how this piece is going to attach to the head, and take note that the wing accent will be attached to the opposite side of the side you attach the horn piece. So when your wings spread open, it'll be on top like this. So essentially, you do not glue it on the same side as the horn piece like this, because if you open up your wings, that accent piece will be on the underside, which we don't want to happen. If you do this by accident and you don't want to rip it off and ruin your whole dragon, I would just cut out a second set of the wing accents and glue the second set on top of the wing. This would actually probably look pretty neat. So if you make this mistake, don't worry, your dragon isn't completely ruined. The tail horns will be attached on the same side as the head horns and the tail end piece, and I'll talk more about that later when we go to glue it. Now let's attach the horn piece to the head, and I want to show you the placement of this piece. If you look at the top of the horn piece where the shorter horns are, you'll see a small divot. This same divot is on the dragon's head in front of the first horn on its head. So when you glue on the horn piece, match those two divots, then rotate the horns so the bottom corner is right flush with the edge of the dragon's neck, like this. Notice this small bump on the bottom horn that sticks out beyond the dragon's neck. You may feel inclined to line it up with the dragon's neck, but it's actually designed to stick out like this. So now we flip the horn piece over, then just spread some glue along the curved edge. You can spread glue on the whole piece, but I like it just on the edge because I'm going to be curling my horns at the end for a more 3D look. So once you have your horn piece on the dragon's head, press down to secure the glue. Next, we're going to glue on the wing piece. Remember to flip your dragon over to the opposite side of where you glued the horn piece. Then spread some glue above the wing fold line across the whole wing and also along the side curve of the wing like this. And now attach the wing accent piece. It should fit nicely onto the wing if you align the bottom of it to the wing fold line. Just make sure you don't sit it over that wing fold line. Once you have your two head and wing accents glued onto both dragons, the next step is to attach the two dragons together. Since we'll be attaching the two dragons like this, make sure you're working with the correct side of your dragon for this step. And to do that, we are going to start with the dragon with the eye and nose fillers glued on. You want the eye and nose fillers and wing accents to be on the top side of your dragon. Now cut a piece of double-sided tape. You can just roughly estimate the length to match the length of the wing fold line here, and place that piece of tape along the wing fold line. Then take your other dragon and align it on top. Try to align all the edges as much as you can. Once you're happy with the alignment of the two dragons, hold down both dragons tightly at the dragon's chest and lift up the top dragon to reveal the tape in between. Then with your X-Acto knife or any sharp object that will fit in there, peel off the tape lining. Then press down on the tape to secure the two dragons together. Now that our dragons are attached, we are going to glue them together. Before we glue, reinforce the folds at the legs and the arms. This will help you to keep glue off of those areas. And now starting at the tail end, just gently lift up the top dragon and spread glue on the bottom dragon. Again, make sure you don't spread any glue beyond those fold lines. Just completely cover the whole tail side of that bottom dragon. Once you have it covered in glue, press the two dragons together. Then flip your dragon over and do the same thing with the head area. If you're spreading your glue onto the dragon with the eye and nose fillers attached, just make sure not to put any glue onto those pieces if you don't want dried glue on them. Although most glues dry clear nowadays, so it's not crucial, but just something to keep in mind. Also, try to avoid putting glue on the orange horns if you want to curl them up at the end. So once you have the whole area covered in glue, press the two dragons together. And next we are going to finish decorating the dragon by gluing on the tail horns. You'll notice the little ridge along your dragon's tail. This is where the horns will attach, so just spread some glue to cover that ridge. Then just attach the horns to the ridge. And next, flip your dragon over and repeat with the other horn piece. Now let's look at the end piece for the tail. You'll notice that we've glued two of each accent piece to our dragon. For this tail end piece, you can glue on one piece or two pieces. If you choose to attach two pieces, they'll just attach like this. The advantage of this is that your dragon's tail can then curl in either direction. If you choose to glue on one piece, you need to decide which way your dragon's tail will curl. And whichever way you decide to curl it, for example, if you curl your tail like this, your one tail piece will then attach on top of the tip of the tail. And if the tail is going to curl the other way, then that end piece will attach on top of the tail on this side. For this dragon, I've decided its tail will curl to the dragon's right. So I'm placing a little bit of glue to the end of the tail, then just attach the end piece to the glue. And you can attach your end piece like I do here, or if it's flipped over, it won't make a difference. And now if you look on the other side, it's not as pretty because you can see that stump of the tail, but you won't see this side because it'll be facing downwards. And again, you can choose to glue on a second tail piece that will cover that stump. And that's it for the assembly part. Now let me show you how to prepare your dragon for display. So this part is basically just primping up your dragon, and I start by curling up the horns at the head. Just gently lift each horn up and use your thumb to curl it upwards. And remember to do this with both sides of the head. The next thing I do is curl up the horns or spikes at the wings using the same method I used for the horns on the head. Just gently lift up each spike and run your thumb along it to the end. Then for the tail horns, just gently pry apart the two horn pieces so that they become two rows like this. And finally, let me show you how to curl up the tail. This part is crucial to your dragon sitting up straight. So first decide which way you want to curl the tail. Then at the area below the horns is where we'll be curling the tail. And we do this by just gently rubbing your thumb on that area while pulling the tail upwards. Obviously, we're not going for a hard fold, just a gentle curl. But you want this curl to help the tail sit perpendicular to the dragon's body. Now when I think I have a good curl, I set my dragon down to see if it's enough, and lucky for me it is, and my dragon is sitting up nicely. Now let me show you how to troubleshoot if your dragon is not sitting up straight. Here's a dragon that you can see is leaning away from the side that I curled the tail. And the reason for this is that I haven't curled the tail up enough. So all I need to do to fix this is curl up that tail, focusing on the part that touches the table. This is the part that's pushing your dragon to lean over, so curl that part up higher. Then set your dragon down to look at it again. Also make sure the legs and arms are opened up evenly. And now our dragon is sitting up nice and straight. Then if you want, you can give a little curl to the tail end piece and also curl the wings. And I do this by running my fingers along the wing edge and just giving it a slight downward curl. And that's it, guys. Here is my finished dragon. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you again for all your support with my designs, and if you have a second, please click the like button on this video. It encourages YouTube to show my videos to more people, which helps my business. And if you're interested in seeing future designs from me, you can subscribe to my channel or follow me on Pinterest or Instagram. I'm at Chive Design. Thanks, guys.